Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nidus Anarchy series. I'm your host, Adam, the CIO and co-founder of Nidus. And recently I put out a video saying Java is dead, and it got a whirlwind of comments from both sides, from people stating I'm a genius and wanting me to hire them, and they think everything I said was absolutely right. And then, those people are amazing. Then we got the other side of the people where they're saying everything I'm saying is wrong, I don't know what I'm talking about, do I even code? Those people just live in a little bubble. So here we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about what it is I was talking about, and let's back it up with stats. So first, the big thing that I was trying to get across in that whole video was not that Java sucks and it's dead. It's just that you shouldn't be a whatever shop, right? So if your enterprise is a Java shop, completely wrong. You need to open up and learn new languages. If you're a Ruby shop, that's wrong. If you're a Python shop, that's wrong. You should never be a single thing throughout the entire enterprise, because there's plenty of different languages out there, all for very different reasons that they exist, right? So you should be able to take advantage of them when it's most opportune time for whatever it is, whatever your project is for. And sometimes Java may be it. If you need to build some legacy application that's running on Spark and also needs to run on your old AIX boxes plus some weird Linux stuff, sure, build a Java app that only you will own and maintain. And eventually you'll have just really old people maintaining it all the time until they all retire. Sound like mainframe? Because that's exactly where we're at now with mainframe. So, perfect example, there's a huge financial company that's trying to hire a mainframe person, and they can't find one. They're impossible to find. Why? Because they're all old and they've all retired. So now all these companies have mainframes still because, well, we were a mainframe shop at some point. So they still have all these mainframes. They've never migrated off of it. And now there's zero people out there for them to hire to bring in to run it, secure it, modernize it, which good luck with that one. So Java, I see, is going down that path. I mean, we're decades away from that happening, but that's just the trend of where we're going. So let's back this all up with stats, right? Because the big thing is, one is my opinion, which is I think Java is not the best language to be coding in for the more modern development, especially when you're talking about microservices and cloud development, infrastructure, skim protocols, all that kind of fun stuff. That's when I think Java is not the best thing. That's when things like Python, Node, JavaScript, everyone's like, oh, well, Node's not JavaScript. Okay. Like, I have a minute to get in all this information, right? So you can look up what Node is and what JavaScript is if you don't know. But inherently, we're talking about the same thing. But the big thing is here, stats, right? So let's talk about the TIOBE Index. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm calling it the TIOBE because I just read it all the time. This is a website where they basically list all the top languages, and the way they do it, I'm not 100% on board, but it's kind of the de facto what everyone uses. And basically what they say is they search through Google with certain phrases to find out how popular a certain language is. So if you look at the TIOBE Index of 2023, which came out in December, which is right now Python is number 1. Number 2 is C, then C++, then Java. Then JavaScript is at number 6 right now, which has moved up. It used to be number 7, so that's gaining popularity. But one of the things that someone else was talking about from the JavaScript perspective is the way that this thing categorizes the order is based on like search terms. And they're not searching for things like React, Vue, Node. They're only searching for JavaScript. So therefore, a lot of it's being missed, so they think it's actually undercounted. Either way, Python is sitting at number 1 at 13.8%. And Java is at number 4 at just under 8%. So it's a huge difference. And Java lost being the top dog. I think in 2020, C took over, and then Python skyrocketed. Most likely because of all the machine learning and AI that's out there is pretty much all running on Python. So everyone's scouring for Python right now to build out their models and training. So from the TIOBE Index, for the last 3 years at least, Python has superseded Java. Well, not Python, but Java has lost it being the top language for the last 3 years, and it's only going down. So there's actually a chart, which we'll put up here. Our awesome post guy will put this up here for you and show you that Java back in 2002 was at like a 27%, and it has just slowly declined all the way down where it is. It's going down. It's not coming back, right? It's gone. Now, if we look at the Python one, we're kind of stagnant, and then all of a sudden in 2018, whoop, starts going up. Why? AI machine learning, and also a lot of platforms for like web interfaces and application development have come out as well. So the other index I want to look at though, because like I said, the TIOBE Index, it's cool. It gives you a real quick kind of rough analysis of where things are, and Java is declining. It's dying, whether you like it or not. Then there's the other one, which is Stack Overflow survey, developer survey. So that one is really talking to developers that use the website, which is pretty much everyone's a developer goes to Stack Overflow. And they've asked a whole bunch of people like, hey, what's your favorite language and why, and all this kind of stuff. And in the end, here's their results. So the Stack Overflow developer survey says that the number one language at 63% is JavaScript. Then it's HTML, then Python, SQL, TypeScript, which is still JavaScript, Bash Shell, and then Java. So all these languages are being worked on more. They're being developed with more. They're being taught and learned by the new up-and-coming developers more. So yes, Java is becoming antiquated and going out the window. So you can either get on board and learn the new stuff if you want to keep having a job, or you can stay with Java, and then eventually in about 10 years, when everyone's given up on learning Java and everyone's retired that knew it, well, maybe you can get a payday because they're going to bring a Java developer in because they have this JVM app that some dude developed 30 years ago that they still need help with. So that will still be around. A couple other points here about Java as to why it's declining. It's not necessarily just because it's like, oh, I don't like Java, so therefore I'm just saying it's not a good thing. So performance issues. So Java's performance, memory consumption, garbage collection, always been an issue. Things like Go and Rust are a lot better at that. Go has been dominating, right? Some development. That's Google's language that they came out with. It's pretty bomb. Shift in mobile development. So all of Android used to be Java, right? So everything was developed in Java. So it was a huge basis as to why a lot of people still develop in Java was to develop Android apps. Now that's switched over to Kotlin, so that's gone. So there goes a huge chunk of why do I need to learn Java. Cloud microservices, like I was saying before, a lot of development is moving into the cloud and for microservices. And Java is not the language for microservices. That's where Python, Node, Go, those really kick in and help out a lot more there. And then now we're going to talk about the new guys, right? Like high school or even earlier, but then high school and college. What are kids learning these days there that they're going to coming up into? Are they learning Java? Big steep learning curve. I mean, I remember I think one of my first college classes was the C++. It was like the cookie book, if I remember correctly. I think I took one class and realized, screw C, I'm not doing any of this stuff because that's not the development I was doing. I was doing all web stuff, so it didn't make any difference. But right now, people don't want to learn Java. It's complicated. It's a huge learning curve, right? To really understand and master Java, it takes a long time. You can learn Python in a weekend. You can learn Node in a weekend. So you can instantly learn the language and start developing and creating stuff months before you even understand what the hell you're doing in Java. So a lot of these guys, especially nowadays, I mean, look at kids that are in their 20s and teens. They're lazy as shit. They're not going to want to learn object-oriented programming and all this. They're just, no. They're going to learn the easiest thing possible to make them their thing so they can be a YouTube sensation and have their billion-dollar unicorn blockchain Web3 app developed solely on Node because they want to get into the market immediately. What are all these boot camps and everything teaching people? Python and Node, JavaScript, not Java. One other thing, so open source. So a lot of stuff out there, mainly just because I'm a big open source fan personally. I've always made pretty much everything I've developed open source. That's a big fan why I love blockchain, because it's inherently open source. Your code is just out there for the world to see. But also the majority of open source projects are Python, JavaScript related, right? They're not Java. You're not going to see a ton of Java open source programs and applications. Java has always been developed by and for generally large corporations and enterprises for huge enterprise apps that need to scale and be cross-platform. That's not really an open source thing. So nowadays, when everything is leaning more towards open source again, which is great to see, you're going to see more of that offered in the Python and JavaScript world. So that's another reason why you're going to see Java in decline. So in the end, I'm not saying that Java is useless. I'm saying there's a platform for it. But the whole point is you should never be a singular code shop of any kind. You should have all of these languages under your belt. Hopefully, if you're a legit developer, you should not just know one language, right? I mean, I don't even know how many. Probably like 6 or 7 different languages. What I can code in, regularly, and then on top of that, you got all these other weird ass ones that you kind of work in every once in a while. So that's what you should be doing. You should be awesome at a couple and then understand a few. Java should be one of them, yes, because you're absolutely using it. But if you're new and up and coming, should you learn Java? That's, like I said before, that's like me when I was in college and learning COBOL. Sure, you can, but why? that's not where the money's going to be. So if you're chasing the money, or if you're chasing the whole, I want to build the next whatever app or the next whatever, platform, it's not going to be in Java, guys. So I wouldn't waste your time. That's my personal opinion. I'm sticking to it. So I'll see you guys around. Follow us on social media. We love your comments, whether they're good or bad, doesn't matter. I think it's really great just to have the conversation going, and that's what this whole thing is about. It's getting the conversation started. So hopefully you guys go to town and let me know how awesome I am or how stupid I am. I really don't care because I'm right. I'll see you guys around. Later.